that may have come up in the course of our discussions in the community or in the course of our events in the community and all. So today's session is about career transitions, and we have with us here today the beautiful, if you were at the if you were at the weekend conference, then you definitely know her. We have the beautiful, the leader-centric, if there's a word like that, Oluchi Iseko with us today. She's a woman in leadership. She's raising women in leadership. And when we thought of today's topic, career transitions and leadership, there was no better person that we could think of to host and to anchor and to teach in today's session. So with a round of applause and a standing ovation, let's welcome Mrs. Oluchi Iseko to the room. So the session today, just you're welcome. The session today is basically anchoring on stepping boldly into your roles, into your opportunities. So we've had scenarios in the weekend community where women have come up to say, I'm unsatisfied in my job. How do I pivot? How do I move to the next thing that I want to do? Even during the weekend conference, a lot of questions came up about pivoting, about changing career paths. I think we had a lady who said she's a medical person and she's very, very unsatisfied. She's looking to pivot to something different, but where does she start? Because all she's ever known is medical. Take me, for example, as well. When I tell people that I have a master's degree in cardiorespiratory physiology, yet I'm working in research and communications.
You don't mean it.
Exactly. So it's a career transitions is something that you almost never can avoid. But a lot of people are confused about how to go about it. So today's session is one that is very dear to my heart. And I'm going to just be, if you want to transition from business to career, from career to business, from career to career, you are in the right place this evening. So I'm just going to be handing over to Mrs. Oluchi Seko to kick off her session as fast as possible. Like I said, Mrs. Oluchi, she's the COO of Limi Group of Hospitals. I mean,
Yes,
it's very rare to see female COOs. So when I saw her at the weekend conference, I was like, okay, I'm loving this, because a lot of times I tell Mrs. Eniola Peters that a lot of times when I look at the women in her circle, I'm inspired that I'm not doing too much. And that is the thing, because I'm seeing women that are crushing the barriers. I'm seeing women that are breaking the bounds, that are breaking limits, that are doing the best in all the fields that they found themselves. And it's very inspiring.
Yeah.
Somebody that inspires me so greatly. So right about now, I'm just going to be handing over to you. But before I do, a few housekeeping rules. Can everybody confirm that they can hear me? I just have a few rules that I would want to pass. So basically, it's a virtual session. So I want to just encourage everybody to be very active, to be interactive, especially when the speaker is teaching and she's asking questions. Please engage in the chat box, unmute yourself, respond. It encourages her, it keeps the conversation, it keeps the inspiration flowing. So please, let's do all that. Let's be engaging, let's be online, let our presence be felt, because at the end of the day, this is value that we are going to be getting today. So I'll hand over to you now, Ma. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Karen. That was a lot. In fact, I will even start by unpacking this introduction. You don't mean it. You don't, like, seriously? Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so that has given me some context on where to start. Let me see if I can keep to my slides, because I have slides.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be please. Okay. System setting. Okay. It's not sharing as it should. I should have some settings issues.
Okay.
Okay. Since I can see you and I can see my slide, I think I'll just go. I'll just
Yeah.
go.
Okay.
But thank you very much, Eniola, for this moment. Eniola, you're always doing it and you are encouraging a lot of us. So thank you very much. I want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate the host of Weekend. Maybe I'll come and join you people's group, oh, right? I'm sure there'll be much for me there. But thank you very much. It's an honor. You know, the first one, it's really an honor, but a second call back, that's a double honor. I consider that as a huge honor. So career transitions. Let me start it off. Let me start it off by saying that one of the first things you should expect to happen in life, because there is this whole thing of treating our career like is this kettle right here, and then there is our life right here. But our
Mm,
career and our lives are usually intertwined. What is happening is that as you grow as a person, it shows up on your career. And as your career does a growth work on you, it shows up on your life. So let me start with some foundational thoughts, and then we're going to talk about career transitioning and all that it entails. Career transitioning, as a definition, I would say is a change in role, a change in field, or a change in an industry. So it's either you are changing roles in one organization, you are moving from, say, you work in the lab, and then from the lab, someone says, okay, you should work in management. And as someone working in, please, anytime you stop hearing me, just say something so that I know that
all
I'm
right, ma.
still with you. Okay. So sometimes you change from management and someone says, okay, we need you in marketing, right? That's a change in a role. It gets trickier when you are changing field, like Karen has done. A complete field, like you were in physiology, core physiology. You should be looking at echoes. You should be, I don't know, doing ECGs, and then you are doing research. Yeah, I can see a thin line of thread there, but it's still a change of field, because what we recognize in physiology, we may not respect it in research. Okay, so that's a change of field, that's a change of industry. Usually it requires a change in skill. There are skills required for physiology that may or may not be needed in research. There are skills that are, worshipped in research. There are abilities you have in research that when we come to physiology, they're like, my dear, I don't need you to be thinking far. Just, do this thing and put in the results. Don't even think too much for us, right? So usually it requires that change in mindset, that change in responsibility. So, because it requires that, before we talk about transitioning in career, I can't avoid the idea of figuring out for yourself who you are. It is who you are that is driving the need for career. The first thing I said, like when I do these things, I make sure that one thing is building on the other so that I can make reference back to it. So the first thing I have said is that your career and your life are one and the same. They are intertwined. It's very difficult to have a bad career and a good life. It doesn't just happen. That you have a wonderful life, but oh, you had a bad career or no career at all. So it's one and the same. So you can't talk about careering or career transitioning without zoning down into who are you? Why are you looking for all these things? What satisfies you? What is your makeup? Because sometimes we all went to school and we all studied the next course after medicine, right? After they didn't give us law or engineering, the next thing that happened after that, we picked something and we studied it. And then now we are here. And sometimes what we are doing does not emphasize the skills that we think we have. And that's what happens when we follow that course, or when we follow a line of thinking. Maybe we were in an environment and something was the hype at the time. And right now you are finding out that this does not satisfy you. So the question is, who really are you? Because if you have not studied any of these, top courses I have entered, in my opinion, you are better off for it. I'll tell you why I say that. Because there are going to be serious hindrances for you if, as a medical doctor, you now decide that you want to do music, like you are not interested in that again. There's going to be a community meeting for you. There's going to be a session there's going to be an intervention, right? Everybody's going to ask what's wrong with you. And over time, you find out that it's somehow you can't or innovate in any other way, because there is this beautiful thing. You are a doctor, but there is who are not in such core fields. So in that aspect, I would say, okay, there's room for you to now discover yourself, room for you to now say, who am I? Who do I want to be? What appeals to me? Why am I tired of this career? Because I want to believe I'm talking to people who are looking for something greater than themselves. So when you are living a career, you're not living a career because somebody say, oil money. That's the thing now. Like, they're paying people. Can you imagine oil money? And they now go and give you secretary in an oil company. Shy is oil company. I hope they are not here. They are the people that they do not come for this session. They will listen later and hear that we are saying they're not even career people. I don't consider them career people, because the idea of career is that there is a singular thing you are being known for and you are curating that brand over time. So that you are in an oil and gas sector, but you are an assistant there. Your career is not oil and gas. Maybe executive assistant, if that is what you are doing. Your career is not oil and gas. Maybe, I don't know if there are still secretarial careers, if that is what it is. So except you are out there going offshore, you are not really in oil and gas. Okay. So I'm saying all of this to say, clarify to yourself, who am I? When I'm asking who am I, I'm asking what are my strengths? What are the things I find I do easily? And we'll talk about that later. So let's move on. But when you find that out, you find out that that is the empty canvas upon which you can draw any other thing. When you say you are transitioning, that idea of this is what I know I can do, it is based on that you are transitioning. It is based on that you are selling yourself. It's based on that you are deciding. I love so much. I've talked about it several years. In Luke chapter 16, verse 1, there's this guy that his master told you, you are a lazy person. You are wasting my goods. I'm going to fire you. And the guy said, what am I going to do? I cannot steal and I cannot beg. And I love that verse so much. The moment you find yourself at those crossroads, you must ask yourself, what can I not do? Because sometimes you don't know all that you can do, but you know what you cannot do. I know that I am going to make, if sometimes I go out for this night out, and there are girls who earn a lot of money, good money, dancing, not on poles, so they are just dancing to music in bars, right? And at that night, I don't know how much they make generally, but that night, the one that I can see, people give them loads of money. I know that I cannot. So sometimes in identity clarification, you know that these are things that you cannot. Because if you don't answer that question and you start transitioning, when you get into that place you have transitioned into, when they start telling you this is what you need to now do here, you will start cutting corners. You will start doing things you did not think you could do. And that time, it's all lost for you. So identity, very key. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to now talk about is foundational thoughts. One foundational thought is for you to know that change is constant. If there is one thing you can count on happening, is change. Why you have problems is because you are living in a life, or you are living a career where, for whatever reason, you have considered this is what you are going to do for 40 years, for 45 years, you are going to retire, and then nothing is just going to change. I don't see, you are not working a career because you are not invested. But if it's a career you are curating, change is going to happen. Even if it's in your father's house, things are going to change. Economic factors are going to change. COVID is going to happen, it's going to turn the world on its head. So regardless of how safe you think you are, change, transition. I have said it before, I'll keep on saying it. You are a platform, you are in transition. You are a living, moving platform. That platform is moving through people, is moving through careers, even if it's in the same career, is moving through roles, is moving through organizations. You are coming in contact with people, people are coming in, you are the platform. And so that platform, because you are alive, right? There was a time you were 25, now you are 45. That means you are moving through. So you are in transit. And because you are in transit, it means that you are accumulating this beautiful thing called experiences. It's because you haven't seen yourself as a platform. That's why you are just unable to ask yourself, by working here for 5 years, what do I now know how to do? And if you are in a career, if you're in an organization and you are not thinking about transitioning now, but it's just the topic we're talking about, you still need to ask yourself, in what way have I grown since I started working here? What can I do by virtue of working here? The only reason, or one of the two reasons I say people should live where they are working, is when you are working somewhere that what you are doing is so monotonous that you are not learning something new. You're going to die. That's where dreams go to die. Like, you come to work every day. So the first thing you want to do is to start looking, what should I learn? Is it the discipline of coming and doing the same thing? Is it the discipline? If it's not the discipline, is it a better way? Is it iteration? Getting better at this thing? If you get to the point where you feel there is nothing else, no growth is happening here, it's time to transition, right? And the other one, I think I said, when there's general disfavor, one is like you are not growing. So count your experiences, whether you are transiting now or you are not. Begin to journal. These are the things I think I can do better. All right. If you were going to transition, you need to, even if you're not going to transition, I say life is in transit. So everybody is transiting. In other words, everybody is transiting. If you are doing the same thing for 5 years, you are not living. Some people are doing the same job and then they come out and they say, we have 7 years experience. No. You have 1 year experience. You have been doing the same thing for 7 years. We didn't need you doing that for 7 years to come and tell us you have an experience and all your experience is on the same thing. And so you must have an assignment mindset. Your mind must always be working with that concept that, number one, I am a platform. And because I am a platform, I am sent. I am sent to this place. You know, it's easy for people to start thinking, oh, this is deep or this is spiritual. But I think Harvard Business Review 2020 came out with this assignment mindset. It's a mindset that makes the person who has the mindset think that for every phase in life, they are doing something for their future and reaping something that their past has given birth to. I hope I'm saying that well. It means that the person who has this mindset at every stage in life, this is Harvard Business Review on career transition in 2020. It says that if you have this mindset, every time that you are at, know that you are here where you are as a result of what you have done in your past. Okay? And that what you are doing here is going to influence what will happen in your future. So the way I will say it will be that at every point in time, you are sowing a seed to your future. That's how I will write my own. You are sowing a seed to your future and you are harvesting from your past. So you are exactly where you deserve to be, respectfully. You are earning exactly what you deserve to be earning. You are being treated exactly the way you deserve to be treated. And unintended. I say this as respectfully as possible, but you are a sum total of what you have done to be where you are. And what you are doing today is going to determine how you'll be treated, how you'll be paid, where you'll find yourself tomorrow. And I think it is the first act of responsibility to determine to yourself that whether I cost it or not, I am exactly where I deserve to be. I don't deserve more. It's only when you own that responsibility that you can take matters into your hands and start doing something about it. So the assignment mindset, it says that you are a platform, that you are in motion to a designated place. That every day, using my own words now, every day is a seed and a harvest, a test and a reward. Every day, be clear, what am I reaping that I sowed yesterday? It may not be good seeds, but you know that is your seed. You know what this to do when you, oh no, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Oh no, it's that person that's decided to help me. Oh no, yeah, it's just we thank God. Yes, we thank God. But sis, own your victories. You
Mm,
deserve it. You should be here. It's not just a favor. There are many ladies.
mm,
Oh, I watched a movie, and it's related. I watched a movie, and this lady was trying to talk down at this guy. And she told him that, look at you. You are only here because his father was owned the company, but his mother was not married to the father. So you're only here because this man did not know what to do on a night that he was honey.
wow,
And I was like,
wow.
whoa. And this guy did not miss a beat. Turned to the woman and asked her, where was your mother that night? And I'm like, good comeback. I mean, it was low, it was dirty, but you cannot live life thinking that you are just an element of luck.
Yeah.
Something just
Mm,
happened, right? Because in as much as different people slept with whoever and somebody came into the place, how many people have done what you have done with what they have been given? Because you have been given something, you worked it, you made it a name. I say without wincing, when I came to Abuja, the term operations manager was not popular in hospitals. Hospitals have what they call a hospital administrator. They do not
agree.
have all these fancy names now. It was after I became operations manager and turned operations manager to a thing that in fact, I started seeing adverts. Hospitals want to open and say, we are looking for an operations manager. I'll be like, what do you know an operations manager in a hospital does? So you have been given several things, but what you do with it, that's what it is. That's what you have become. So do not shy away. Do not allow anybody excuse away what you have become. An assignment mindset. But in that same vein, also remember that your tomorrow is going to look exactly like the efforts you are putting in, the seeds you are putting into the ground today. So every
Mm,
time you are working, when it is time to transition, do you know what you are doing? You first of all are gathering, what increase have I made since I got in here? What am I harvesting from this stage, from this level in my life? What am I gathering to move to the next? And sometimes people are transitioning because they didn't plan for it. I don't want to go ahead of myself, but when I hear people say, oh, I left with nothing, I'm worried because what do you mean you left with nothing? These people gave you 4 years. 4 years to be a customer service manager. They gave you 4 years. 4 years to play around on their platform. They paid you for 4 years to develop yourself, to say, I work with so person. And for 4 years, you had that opportunity. And after 4 years, they say, well, it's time to say goodbye. And you say they left you with nothing. What have you gathered during that period? What have you put together that you were taking to the next place? So that's the question we should ask. So, career transitioning, you want to talk to yourself about an assignment mindset. All right. So, let's talk about planning for a transition. Why do you want to change? Why is it important to you to change? You know why you need to ask yourself, why am I transitioning? Because if you don't answer that question, I like to say that any test you fail, you repeat. So if you have not answered the question, why am I leaving? You are very likely to take 3 years or 4 years and repeat the same cycle. So find out, why is it important to me? Why can I no longer work here? I'm not saying that your reason is your reason can be that you are moving from one town to the other for other reasons. Okay, that's fair. But that is not a reason, and you are just tired of one organization. Ask yourself, because let me tell you something, ladies. Every time you jump from one place to the other, in as much as you are moving with something you have acquired, you lose some of the things you have acquired. You lose some of the influence. You have to prove yourself over again. You have to, almost make a name again. So ask yourself, why is it important for me? And answer that question. Number two, look for your transferable skills. There are always skills that are transferable. And when I talk about transferable skills across industries, someone like Karen, there are always skills transferable from physiology to research, from research to, I don't know, mining. There are skills that are transferable. So look for those skills. This is one I like. If you are moving to a new field, learn the language. Every new sector, in fact, every sector has a language. There is something that you speak. There is a way you talk, and it sounds to those people, oh, we know that person. That person sounds like us. And they engage, you get the attention of the people you are talking to. I'm not saying if you are transitioning to go be, I don't know, if you're transitioning to go clean or something like that. I'm talking about making impact. Every time you enter a new organization, if you don't know the language of the people, I can give you a few ideas. Go and pick up the job description. Just go on Google. Don't worry about how small or how big where you are working is. Go on Google and pick up the job description of the job title you want to transition to and take a read. You are not reading it to know what you should be doing. You're reading it to know how they talk. You already need to understand what languages they use for the same things you are saying. We are all saying the same thing. Well, we're speaking the same language, because what I'm saying now is the same thing. Somebody will be saying they wanted to say it in French, but because we're not saying it in the same language, we lose communication. Okay, so learn to speak the language. Somebody put it this way: so when you enter a new town, learn the language of the villagers. Right? It creates acceptability. Another place to find it is industry publications. Every industry has a publication. I think maybe 2020 or 2019, I started subscribing. Some subscriptions are free, some subscriptions are not. But even the ones that are free, they will give you a lot of material. I just started reading what's it called? I think Becker's Hospital. That's the US hospital, like they are talking about financial insurance, they're talking about HMO, the very same things. But I am not learning it so that I can come and be talking, off while people are talking. I'm learning it so that I cannot be in a meeting and they are saying anything concerning what I am working about. And I don't know what, you can't lose me. You can't lose me. It's important that when you get into a room, just the same way children learn language, when you hear a new word, those days when I was small, I read a lot of novels. When I see a word I don't know, not only will I go to the dictionary, not only will I learn it, not only will I learn how to apply it. Surely as God lives, tomorrow, 2 days within, I'm going to say something altogether unrelated, but just to tell everybody that, look, I know this word, I know what it means, I know how to use it. And it is that utilization that makes somebody say, this person speaks like us. Update your resume. Update your resume, whether you are planning on transitioning or not. There are two types of transition, basically. There are transitioning you plan for. And I told you that life is a transition, right? If you are not ready, when opportunities come, you won't even see them, you won't notice them. Or somebody tells you that, oh, this is open, you wouldn't know where to start. This is versus people who plan their transitioning. I like it in my organization when, we say, oh, this position is open. Can some people apply for it? You will see somebody who we may think is qualified for it, but the person has never seen herself applying for anything again. Since I got this job, I will just be promoting when it's my turn. It's my turn. And for their life, they can't see themselves applying, or God forbid, it feels to them like begging. But if you're working on your resume, this is what it does for you. Your resume is like you saying, this is what I can do. When you translate that to your every day, there's a disconnect. It's your resume and you type it and you update. It's a reminder to yourself that you say you are a problem solver. So when you sit at work and there are problems to be solved and you're not solving them, your resume is testifying against you. So that's why you regularly update it, whether you are planning on going anywhere or not. Your resume is your checker. It's checking against you. It's like your report card. Just imagine you went and you saw your report card for a test you have not written. Right? So when you come back and you are playing and you are doing everything, yes, you know you saw your report card, but you must be acting like an A-level student. Otherwise, you will not be believable. Okay? As you are planning for a transition, everybody plans for a transition, because when I say planning for a transition, what I think the feedback in my head I'm getting is, oh, are you planning on leaving your organization? No. Everybody must be planning. Transition is growth, right? Transition is metamorphosis. It's like leaving one stage and getting to a stage. Now that can happen when you leave one organization or in the same organization. The worst kind of transition is the one that people did not plan for. They came to your desk one morning. I used to hear all those horror stories. You came one morning, you logged in. That was banking those days. There was 1 year like that. I think 2017, 2016. People will go to work not knowing whether this would be the day. Those days that banks were emerging, Intercontinental and Access and all those. You go to work one day, if you log in and you can't find you and you are not having access, that means you are out. And all of a sudden, their life falls. Sometimes that is the breadwinner. Sometimes loans have been taken against that person's salary. And all of a sudden, everything, the person is on the ground. That's the worst kind of transition. There are very few people that recover from that kind of thing. It is always a spiral downwards. But if you have transition in your mind, in fact, when those things were happening, I knew people who opted for, what do you call it, to be fired. Like when people were being fired, they came, like, because for them the tension was too much. You don't know whether it's going to be today, and they didn't want. And besides, they were now putting their lives on hold. Other opportunities, they were saying no. This one was not sure. They just went to say, you know what? Since you don't need many staff, let me go. Those ones are planned. It's like taking life into your hands. When you are planning for a transition, another thing you need to learn is the art. I say art because it's not a complete science. It's the art of negotiation.
Mm.
You must know how to negotiate. You must learn how to negotiate. The cheapest way to learn how to negotiate is just negotiate everything. Negotiate it because it's available to be negotiated. Somebody says, oh, here we work 5 days a week. You have to come in the morning. You have to say, okay, 5 days a week. That means 2 days off. Every other month, can I take another 1 day off? Like they say 27 days is your this thing. Can I take 28? See, it's likely if you're working in good places that you will hear no. But the negotiation is not just what you are getting out of it, it's who it makes out of you. It makes out of you somebody
Mm.
who is not afraid to ask questions.
Mm.
Just get into a room and they say something
Mm.
is 14 naira, the price is fixed. Are you sure? I can't get it 30 naira. You know, it's kind of takes shame away from you. You see that shame it takes from you, that's a business skill. It's not something for the rich, it's not something for the poor. I used to love it when my children's school back in those days would make them bake pies. They didn't bake the pies themselves, but they sold it themselves. My children were so introverted. They felt, is it that we don't have money? They wanted me to come and pay and buy up all their cookies. I say, for where? I'm buying one cookie. See that mother there, go and meet her. Tell her that you want to sell cookie to her. They did that for a couple of times. And whilst my kids were like, this is humiliating, I knew what the school was doing. At that young age, if you take it off your face, when you need those skills in life, you will not be too calm, collected, whatever. There were of recent some people who left my organization. A big hospital was establishing in town. They took some of my staff, like, a good number of my staff. And for the individual staff that I spoke with that were taken from my organization, their packages were different. People who have worked the same year. In fact, for some of them, I knew that this other guy was better because they are working with me. But some of them just You know, they just know how to say that comma you put there. Can you move it backwards? Can you move it forward? They just ask for the fun of ask. I mean, what is the worst anybody can say? If you are now decided that you are transitioning, and when I have staff who have worked with me for a number of years, and maybe they get married, they are leaving town, those who live properly, I call them in and I talk to them. And I tell them, I I work hard, right? And I demand a lot of people that I work with, right? So I trained you, so to speak. It does not mean that this is your level. When you get to another organization, that organization did not train you. Ask them for triple what you are earning. The reason you are not collecting that is that I trained you. The reason you're not the reason you're not collecting that is that I work you hard, right? The work is on my sweat. I'm doing the work, and therefore you are doing the work. Now you are going to be holding yourself accountable. You have learned all of this from me. Do not go there and enter as an entry level. No, 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 no. I'm telling you now that you are worth more than 3 times. Like, if they came to me and asked me for that, I was like, you that I taught how to write, my friend, get out. But now that they are going somewhere, I call them and I say,
Right.
no, don't go there and take what you are, idea. Your type, there are few of you. I know what I put into you. And sometimes I need to tell them that so that they can walk away. The power of negotiation is ability to walk away. Walking away, having it, knowing in your mind, I'll get what I want. I'll get it.
Yes.
So now that you know you are transitioning, understand, learn the art of learn how to. There is a way to negotiate. There is a way you will ask for something, and somebody's ego is bruised, and for the sake of their ego, they will never negotiate with you. There is a way you will ask for something and you will feed into the person's ego and you will use the word that the person has been praying for. And when you leave, the person can think of nothing else but you. It's an art. Materials abound on learning these things. Go and learn if you must transition. And you must. The next one is networking. You know that the worst people with networking are people who are doing relatively well in their industries. Let me just say, people like myself, we are terrible at networking. But networking is a discipline. In fact, inability to network is some form of pride. And the reason why networking has gotten a bad rap is because people now go to network for what they can get, right? They see somebody who is doing well. They say, oh, please, can I have your number? They want to sell something to the person. It's so annoying. It's so irritating. That's not how to network. But networking done properly is a skill that must be learned, and it's a discipline that must be maintained. How do you network? Cultivate the art that after every new meeting, you in a meeting figure out something that you can give. That's real networking. Something that you not exchange. We have not come to exchange. Networking is that I see you and I'm like, oh wow, you are doing research. Actually, do you know I have access to this? I don't know, this research papers, these boards or whatever. I just have the access. I got it from one university. I'm not using it for anything. Are you interested? Do you see? I am not asking you for anything. But more importantly is that I heard you. I heard what you are doing. And it occurred me, I have this thing that this person can need. You may or may not forget me. Because real networking, there is no guarantee that the person gets it out of you. But what you need in networking is for the person to remember your name, period.
Yeah.
That's all.
Mm.
So now with a proper understanding of networking, when you get into rooms and you listen to people, your mind is racking. What can this person need that I have? Never what does this person have that I need? Never. That's badness. That's what gave networking a bad rep. That's why people, do their noses like this when you say networking. In fact, these days when I hear event and they say networking, I'm first out of the door. Because in my mind, they are coming to get from me. But when you understand this discipline of networking, when you go to a place, you are liberal, you are giving people, if you see something that somebody needs that you can give them, and you are not giving to a particularly cohort of people, you are not giving to a subset. You are giving upwards, you are giving towards your peers, you are giving downwards. That's real networking. now that you are getting into a new transition, put yourself on a calendar. One of the problems we have is that once we are in a career, we're just living our lives, right? It gets busy very fast. We get encumbered with all these things that we have to do. And then we forget to make a personal calendar. A personal calendar, personally for me and my people, is that 2 years and 3 years calendar. I don't go as far as 5 years. 6 months, 1 year, like in 2028, this is what I must be doing. I like it when at the end of the year, people bring out their this is what I achieved this year. I did this, so. I did 400 clients. I closed whatever. I 17 billion naira. Fantastic. I write my own before time. I'm in the habit of writing my report card before I write the exam. So after I do that and I say at the end of December, I must have so amount of things, and I do my own in disciplines, right? Knowing fully well that if I do what I said I would do, the result will come many ways. Then I now come down and I say, if I'm going to do this in 6 months, what do I have to be doing every day? Because the problem of getting into a new career is that nobody knows you as a hardworking person. Nobody knows that, in your days, just imagine me getting into a new company now. I will have to work the way I worked in 2018, steadily for a lot, because now I'm almost taking things easy. As in me, I have time now. See me coming out for events, doing that time I was submarine. I worked throughout 12-hour, 18-hour days. I work. Okay, so now you want to put a calendar for yourself and say, this is what I must achieve within this time. And if you put that calendar and say, this is what I must achieve during this time, you must ask yourself, am I ready to give this career what it needs for me to achieve what I want to achieve? Am I ready to finish this thing that I have started? Am I ready to listen to tips? Am I ready to, get the help that I need to do what I need to do? So it's what you want, because sometimes we have big dreams, but we're not ready to put our back to it. You say you want to be at the top of your career, but you are a champion for work-life balance. Let me not even go into that now. But you must be ready. If your dream is big, the effort is going to be big. If your dream is little, then you can wing it. You can just continue. You must learn visibility. You must understand how to walk your way so that you are visible internally and externally. A lot of people also have a bad understanding of what visibility is. I hear a lot of things on social media. People think visibility is just be loud, right? Just raise your hands and speak up for yourself. Ask a question. So you come and you see different people just making noise. That's not what visibility is. Honestly, I would tell you, if you have nothing good to say, keep quiet. You do not want to be known for, because the thing is that the moment you are known as a loud symbol, you become wallpaper. Honestly, we know the loud Karens. Sorry, we call them Karens. Karen is not, as not a reference to you. It's not your own Karen. Okay, your own is
No
KE.
problem.
But we have this thing in the workspace where we call people say, she's a Karen. Like, they are just loud. They speak up on every matter. After a while, we even use them. Like, you can trust, you can go to the bank that if this happens, if we come and we say, look, there is no break, we can bank that person is going to talk about. You don't want to be known for rubbish. Visibility is an intentional putting out of the work that you do. If you are going to be a hard worker, I assure you that a lot of your work will be hidden. Another percentage of your work will be stolen. People are going to claim advantages for if you are working so that all your work is noticed, you are going to be loud. If you're working so that nobody steals your job, you are just going to be a non-team player, because the work was never your own to start with. So over time, you are going to do work that gets unnoticed. If all your work is unnoticed, if all your work is noticed, something is wrong with you. You will do work that is unnoticed. But visibility is an intentional curating of your work in a way that it is seen by people who need to see it. You don't get into visibility space until something is handed over to you. And so the first thing I tell people when I talk about visibility is learn how to write. Learn how to write. The reason we ask people to write CVs is not just because somebody wants to see, oh, I am a goal chaser with the driven. It's just so that we know that you can write. But when you get into the workspace, learn how to write. Thank God there's ChatGPT now. So you can even borrow ChatGPT, but you must still curate your own writing skill so that when I see what you have written, do you know that there are staff in my organization that their superior wrote a query to them and they were responding to the query? It's not my problem. Manager wrote query to her subordinate. They copied me. And I was reading this subordinate's response and I'm like, beautiful writing. Honestly, whether the person was wrong or not, that's not what the person can write. It tells me that above the work you are doing, there's some brain matter that has visibility. So somebody has written you a query. That is not the time to start saying, if you ask all the people that were there that day, in fact, it was raining. I just said, let me get, no. Just learn how to write. Put your lines of thoughts in paragraphs. Find out what is the right thing to say. The right thing to say may not just be to defend yourself. Where do I put in the apology? How do I handle my tone to tell the people reading this thing that I am respectful of the structure here? And then we start saying that for me is visibility. Visibility is that when I ask, oh, what happened here? You are answering, but you are answering with numbers. That's you learned the language so much that the mistake I did was to ask you to speak. The moment you open your mouth, I am forced to listen to you. You are telling me this is what happened yesterday. This is what percentage it was. This is what I did. This is what I was thinking when I did. I must listen to you. Now that's visibility. If you have not been practicing it, there's no way it can come out of you. If you have not done enough that was hidden, there's no way it can come out. But the day you are called on, be ready. That's visibility. Understand impact as opposed to activity. A lot of people are very busy in their workplaces. Like they don't choose to see you. You don't come out for social events. You don't come out in the evenings as they have done this WICA meeting now. I don't know how many people are able, they are just busy, but there's no impact. What's the difference? If you have a goal and you have a plan, every activity that you can directly tie towards where you are going, that is impact. And there is a lot of activity that does not tie. And those things keep you busy. In the morning, you are coming, you are checking in, you are clocking out, you are going through the motions, and you know what? Life has a way of figuring out these busy people. You are the one that gets sent because you're just available to be sent for anything and everything. You are the one, if there is a party for the organization, you are the one that we need. If there is we just need somebody to make sure that people are wearing their bow tie. That's the kind of place you come in because you are just so available. And at the end of the day, you don't have a plan, so you fit into everybody's plan. You are working in one department, but you're reporting to 5 different managers because for this manager, you're doing this one, this manager, you're doing another thing. So you are really active, but there is no channeling. There is no where this thing is going. The moment you don't know who you are and where you are going, what you are doing with all of this, you are likely to be busy. You will be busy, but no impact. So the day it is time to transition, there is nothing to put in that CV. As we finish this class now, go and look at your CV. If you have worked in the same organization for 10 years and there is no update, nothing that you can say you have done that you can add and say 2017 to 2021 or 2024 post-COVID, this is what I have been able to achieve. You are busy. You are busy. You don't have a goal and you don't even know it. It doesn't matter whether you're working in the same position, the same place. There is nothing of impact that you can add to a CV. That has a very, neat checker for you to know that you have just been busy. After every 2 years, there must be something of value that you can add as another line and say, this is what was achieved because I did so, and so. Let's just put it on a CV because it's not everything that gets to a report. And finally, this evening, I'll say, as you are transitioning, as you are beginning to think of new roles, new opportunities, I want you to seek out mentorship. I think I have said that before. I don't know if I said it at the last meeting, but there is this thing we do. I know that there are a lack of mentors available, but if you can just open YouTube or Google, there are a lot of people, a lot of women doing the things you want to do. And the way it is with me and mentorship, I'll say you cannot at any level from here start thinking of maybe somebody like Oprah and say she's your mentor, right? You have to look, when it's about mentoring, that means you are trying to do what the person is doing. Look for people at least 2 steps, but not more than 4 or 5 steps ahead of you. People that what they are doing is relatable, is something that you can reach. Can you make it very well in career without a mentor? Yes. Well, why will you pay for your own school fees? That's the question I'm asking you. Why will you learn with your own school fees? Like, if somebody can pay for you, so having a mentor, somebody that you can see, oh, this is what this person did. This is how this person did it. Having a coach is even more direct. That one is talking to you. That one can exchange ideas with you, can tell you specifics about your industry or what you are doing exactly. But the thing with mentors is that they may not be people that are easily accessible to you, but it has to be something that you can see yourself in. You can imagine what they did. You can replicate what they did. Okay. Look out for mentors. Look out for counselors. Look out for communities. I won't belabor communities because if you're already here, you understand the power of communities. You're already doing that one fine. Okay, my second to last slide, I'll say, when you are transitioning, live properly. Live properly. Don't 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 bang the door behind you. Leave friends behind. Leave people that you can always call back and say, hello, can I get this recommendation? Leave people that you can always visit. There are some staff that have left us 2 years, 3 years. They just visit the hospital and the whole place is a buzz. And I'm like, who is that? And they say, this is this person. And maybe that's the first time I'm seeing the person, dressed down and everything. Live well. When you get into a new organization, no matter what your contract says, you are always on a 3 to 6 month probation. Before you get into organization, have a plan for what you will do in the first 3 to 6 months that will convince whoever hired you that you were a good hire. Think about it. Plan for it. If you wait for, or you can take up a big project that takes 1 year to accomplish, by the time it's after 6 months, they would have made up their minds about you. They would have decided that you are just a burden. They would have, in fact, the spotlight is done, right? You have become wallpaper. If you know what wallpaper is, the first time you have it, every time you see it, every time you love it, you take pictures. If you live there for 6 months, after a while, you stop seeing it, except it is on. After 6 months, you become wallpaper. What you will do as a new entrant into an organization, into a field, you will have 3 to 6. So pick a short-term goal. Go to who you need to go to. Work up something. Look, even if nothing else happens in the next 2 years, if you have a beautiful score in your first 6 months, everybody is good. The right calls will even start coming. The right projects will even start coming. But I'm telling you, you have 3 to 6 months in a new organization to make that mark, to make that score. And then, as you are making that mark, be careful that you choose the right problems. Because there is a problem you solve, and forever it marks your career as this is the kind of issues you can handle. Okay, so look for, decide, prayerfully choose on, this is the one I want to solve, and solve it within 3 to 6 months. All right. Final thoughts. Be patient. Give it time. Give yourself time to transition. Don't be a career hopper. Don't jump from one problem to the other. just give yourself time, right? You need time to build that reputation. You need time after you have built that reputation for people to even recognize you. See, even if your bosses at the place you are working don't appreciate you, if you are doing well, your peers appreciate you. If you are curating this visibility, you are maintaining a profile. And before I forget, if you are a career person, you must have a LinkedIn profile. It's in the constitution somewhere. If you look very well, there is a law that says that. You don't have a
Yes.
LinkedIn profile, you're not career, you are a staff. You don't you have not chosen a career, but give yourself time to build. Now watch out for patterns in yourself. Watch out for patterns in your so that you don't repeat the same thing. So if you are leaving, ask yourself, what happened? What happened? It's just like somebody who has had a divorce. By the time the second spouse is acting up, you are asking yourself, I'm the recurring pattern here. What
Yeah.
trauma am I carrying over? Okay, because like I said, any test you fail, you repeat. And finally, in any organization you join, for the first, in fact, not just for the first 1 year, but continued, love. I'm saying love because it's easy not to love it. Love meetings. It's not just meetings, events. They said they are coming out, they are doing GMD's poker. Actually, whatever boring game it is or whatever it is, those first few times, this is one of those things women avoid, and then they come out and say, oh, it's a male dominated field. I'm telling you, if there is an evening sport to go, Shibi, you said you are a career person now. If the organization says, oh, we are having a meeting, they will come for that meeting. Old men will talk. They will talk about the healthcare scope. They will talk about stakeholders. Things that you don't understand, just sit through. Caffeinate yourself, but don't exempt yourself from meetings. If you are growing upwards, meeting is your calling. You love meetings. You attend meetings. Thank you very much for listening. I think I want to wrap it up
Wow.
here.
Wow. Wow. I don't know about you. A round of applause for that session. Confirm that you can hear me. Thank you so much, Ma. That was such a powerful session. That was such a powerful session. Thank you so, 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 so much, Ma. I don't know about you, but my notes is full. I've noted down a few questions as well. So maybe I should throw it over to the other members, the attendees of the webinar. If you have questions, please drop them on the in the chat box. I've been dropping prompts there. But I don't think anybody has dropped a question yet. My network logged me off at some point. So if you dropped a question right now, I can't see. Please send it again. Please send the question again so that our speaker can answer. But then I'll start with my own questions, Ma. I have three. The first one, when you were talking about about negotiations. So in the Nigerian corporate space, negotiations is a bit dicey. So my question is, when negotiating, you said beyond what you get out of it, negotiation, it builds something in you. But how do you know when to be a dog with a bone? That's when to stay on that thing you're requesting for, and how do you know when to let go?
Okay. So there is a place of identity. One of the things about your identity is that it gives you boundaries. Okay, you know that there are things that are no-go areas. If I go to a place, I don't think it's just now. At any point in time, I always knew I'm not going to work on Sundays, right? And I work in a healthcare sector. So there was a time when I had Sunday shifts,
Mm,
right? And what happened was that when I look at the roster and I have one Sunday in 6 or 7 or whatever, fine, I will do my Sunday shift. But the moment I see that I have 2 or 3 Sundays, I'm holding that roster and I'm working all the way up to whoever did the roster. I can't do 3 Sundays in 1 month. I'm a Christian, right? And these are boundaries over time. People knew. In fact, when
mm,
they were doing the roster, They will look for my name and say, this person, you put on a Sunday. Please, let's not scatter the roster. If you put her this Sunday, so those ones I knew that this is on this mountain. Don't even play with me. Once in 7 days, okay. In 7 weeks, okay. Once in 5 weeks, in Monday. The moment is coming together. One Sunday off, another Sunday off. It's not my work. Like boundaries. But aside that, once you have one or two solid boundaries, the rest must be negotiable. So on negotiation, you figure out these are the 2 or 3 things I will not compromise on, right? These are the things that make up for your core person. The other ones, really, the whole concept of negotiation is that you must be able to give. That's why you don't fight every fight. But what I'm saying about negotiation is that some people believe that everything is in stone. Everything is I worked in a government organization, right? But these things were within the control of some people, right? So within those ones, but for the way I had my own boundaries, your organization too has their own strong boundaries. You must know this before you come here. You can't come here and ask us to change. So I will know those ones and say, this is what makes this organization who they are. These are pillars that cannot be moved. Just like they have their pillars, I have my pillars. I don't touch their pillars, but I can't allow them to touch my pillars. So that's what you do in negotiation.
Wow. Matt, I think that has really broken it down. Thank you very much, Ma. Thank you very much, Ma. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box. I don't think I can see any questions yet. After such a session, I mean, you should have questions because you guys are making me feel like maybe it's the researcher in me coming out. Okay, so my second question was when you spoke about impact over activity, and I was just thinking, I was like, for some people, taking myself also as an example, we are multi-skilled. Maybe, for example, people that grew up in houses where your parents will never want you to be idle. Every holiday, you are learning something. You can bake, you can make shoe, you can build house, you can barbe, you can make cake. And sometimes these skills come to play in supporting your work. Now, let me paint a scenario. I learned a bit of graphics design. I have an eye for colors and placements and all those things. So part of my work in research, you would have to do your reports with PowerPoints and all that. So when I got into my current role, I used to use my Canva. So whenever I wanted to do infographics for PowerPoints, I'll go to Canva, pick a template, do it so beautifully. And then it caught the attention of my boss. And he's like, how do you do these things? I said, oh, I use Canva. I have a Canva premium and I do that. I was like, hey, Canva, do you design? I said, yeah, I'm into a bit of graphics design. That was it. The next thing they wanted to turn me to office graphics designer. We're doing this training, do call for application flyer. We're doing this program, and I had to realize that yes, it's a skill I have, but it's not part of my job description. So how do you draw the line? How do you because they walked up to me 2 days ago and like this training is starting in June. We just had a meeting. The team members involved in the training, we just had a meeting and we put your name as the person that will do the graphics design. And I said, no, I'm not. And she said, we've already put your name. I said, come and open my Canva and design it. Come and force me to open
I
the
think
Canva. But how do you
I
draw
think the
the
trick,
line?
yeah, the trick is like I tell people all the time, I have an agenda, right? Because everybody has one. So you must have one. If these multiple skills allow you to get into rooms that otherwise you couldn't have gotten into, by all means, use them.
Yes.
Allow yourself to be used
Mhm.
because you know you are going in to get something, right? But the problem
Mm,
or what gets you dissatisfied is when you don't have an agenda. So it's just them taking, and there is nothing you are
mm,
getting out of it. So have a plan. What am I getting out of this job? In 3 years, what will I have gotten out of this job? If
mm.
those meetings, if those conferences, if putting you in a committee gives you access into, I don't know, travels, into meetings where
Yeah.
you are networking with the right person, and it feeds into your agenda, just make out time, do, but make sure that you are getting out of it something. When it becomes a distraction, you beg for the, oh, balloon party is your thing, oh, fantastic. And you are torn in these different places and there is no direction, it's not fetching you nothing. But if it is towards an already arranged goal, that is impact, because it is leading you closer and then you must be taken from it. So those counts, as they are asking you, you do 3 times or 4 times for them, then after a while you are meeting them. So like I said, if you do it well, you generally will be given more than you are taking. That's proper networking, right? Is when it's a direct exchange. Okay, that one you asked me for, this one, that's when it looks messy. And so have a plan. Does this lead me towards my plan? Impact. Does this, am I just generally beating in different places? Then you have to start drilling it in. A bad reason for rejecting or doing any work should be, is not my job, right? Every time that is your motive for saying, no, I'm not going to do more than is my job, that's a bad motive, right? But if that this does not feed to where I'm going, this is a complete distraction to where I'm going to then.
Okay.
So like I tell people, there are people who, they've worked in the organization for 5 years, for 6 years, and now they are looking to be managers. But for those 5 years or 6 years, they have gained a reputation as, whenever somebody is getting married, they are the ones turning up. When they turn up, they are coming with alcohol, they are dressing somehow. Like everybody has come to depend on
Yes.
them to turn it up. Like if it's good, you're going to have it. Now they have gained notoriety, they are known. But when it's time for management, when you mention their name, everybody's like, can she really? They can. And it's at this time they want to now come and change their brand. Too late. Too late. They have been
True.
taking up tasks that does not feed into their agenda. So you must make sure that you have where you are going in front of you, and you are choosing and accepting tasks based on where it's taking you to. That's impact.
Hmm. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much, ma. That has put context, a lot of context to it. Thank you so much, ma. I think we have a question in the chat box. Amarachi is asking. She said, "I offered to work for 50% pay for the first month in a role I am interested in, with the possibility of a full pay thereafter if my performance meets expectations. Is this a good strategy, or are there potential downsides I should consider?"
Of course, it all depends. The question is very specific and it all depends. Looking at it from a generalistic point of view, a lot more negotiation was required, right? Because this person has put you in a position of pay per performance, right? Except that the person says, I'm giving you 50%, and if you perform, that means you will take the cut. The person is not betting on you one bit. The person says, I'm going to give you just 50% for your transport, maybe. And then when you do well, I'm going to give you 100%, right? Fair negotiating skills on the person who is negotiating. Where your own negotiation skills, where I feel you left some things on the table is, if I do this well, right? Since you are not betting on me, if I do this well, can I get a further percentage on a particular outcome? Because this person has started on a very transactional basis with you. This person is not betting nothing on you. So why should he now have you on a capped 100% pay only when you do well? So what I think, since this opens a lot of doors for negotiation, is that how well are we talking about? If I do well, okay, on these markers, right? This is 100%. If I overdo, if I outdo this, will it still be 100%? Right? If getting 80% will give me 100% of my pay, when I get 120%, what happens? That opens a lot of room for you, because this person is transacting with you. This person is not paying you. Yeah, Marachi, that's what I think you should have done.
Thank you very much, Amarachi. I hope that was clear. That was very clear. I think the question I also wanted to ask, following up from her own, was how well is well? Because you can end up doing well and the person will say, oh, you didn't do well. So there needs to be a definition of what that well, the benchmark of what that well is.
Exactly.
Thank you very much, Ba. I see questions coming in. So I have a question. When you said, when you spoke about loving meetings, that you must love meetings. If they are doing something, even if you're not interested, you have to be there. Do you have to go out of your way for things like this? Because, for example, okay, there's a meeting that's coming up, and I already have a paid class that I want to attend, or another commitment that I have made that evening. For example, I have a weekend informational, or even just a hangout with my friends that I've made that day. And then my boss is having a meeting. He wants all the staff to be involved. It's not necessarily a work thing, but it's something that is also dear to him, and he wants all the staff. And I'm like, oh, I'm not available that day. And it's now there's now an emotional aspect of, oh wow, a prophet is not respected in his own house. That thing that you want to do, is it that important that it can't be cancelled? Stuff like that. So do you necessarily have to always go out of your way? Because aside from this work, we should have lives, Abby.
So again, it depends. It depends. It
Mm.
depends. So every
Okay.
time I like to say, define for yourself what you want. And then
Mm,
define for yourself, what is it going to cost me to get what I want? Right? The moment you choose a career and say, this is what I want to grow in, I want to gain reputation in this, I want to be known for this, I want to climb up, because that's what career, when you think of a career, think of a ladder, right? I want to climb up in this. The moment you commit to that, you have automatically cut out a lot of other things. Meetings
mm,
are the social ground for corporate people. Meetings
mm,
are where are where corporate people go to socialize. They go there and they talk. Somebody talks, somebody feels the room, somebody knows if what he's saying is accepted. They decide, they take feedback. That's what meetings are. So if you
mm,
understand this, you know that if you are going to get FaceTime, it is from meetings. So why meetings become a
mm,
complete chore is when there is no agenda. But when you are new in an organization, or when you are in a new position in an organization, oh,
mm,
in fact, think about it as a political room, that if you're not in that room, something is going to be said in that room that you will not like. And don't excuse
mm,
yourself from there. Your boss calls the meeting. Nothing wrong might be said in that meeting, but from that meeting, something is discussed that creates the tempo for the next 2 weeks in the office. So have you imagined being in an office and people are talking, and it just feels like there's something that was said and you were not there. There's no way to catch up because nothing was really said. You are just out. Then you find yourself saying, why was I not informed? No, there was no memo about this. No, there was no, there will not be a memo. You have just, there's an in group and there's an out group. In groups are formed at meetings. Okay. So
mm,
yes, sometimes it can be excessive. It is when you have attended a good number that you are in a prime position to say, I can tell that is going to be a useless meeting. It is when you have attended a good
mm.
number of meetings that you can by smell say, that meeting, nothing will come out of it. But you must have attended
Okay.
your share of meetings,
Fair
nonsense meetings,
share.
meetings you should not be there. It is after you have attended that. Now a meeting your boss is in. That's a no-brainer. You should be there. You should be there. If he has a say in your career, if it is not this kind of offices that is foul eat foul and everybody is for his own, and your boss is confiding in you and all those kind of this thing, if there is a proper structure and your boss wants to waste time in meeting, you are there, you are listening, you are reading a book or doing what, especially if it is like a Zoom meeting like this, but your presence is there. So why I say meetings is because it's there that the culture of the organization seeps out. There might be some things that are written that are hard in stone. It's in meetings you know whether this uh, um policy is as strong as they say it is. It's in a meeting you know whether people can talk back. It's in a meeting you know
Mm,
whether, if this thing happened, is it really, general temperature of an office. That's where it's. And I feel that by exempting yourself from such, you generally, it's not even just about putting yourself in the outer circle. You are also telling them that you're not interested in this thing people are talking about. All these things people are doing. This should have been an email, that kind of, yeah. This meeting should have
yeah.
been, it should have been a WhatsApp message. In fact, you are just telling them and they are taking that message back. It's not usual for somebody that is climbing. Oh, but if this is a job for you, I do my job, you give me my pay at the end of the month. I am chasing something. I'm going to Canada. Why stress yourself? Don't go. So you see, it depends. It depends. That's what I mean.
Wow. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. We have another question in the chat box. Favor says, good evening, Ma. Good evening, family. Please, Ma, I'm about to go into the corporate world. Human resource to be precise. I really don't know where to start, to be honest. I've had zero work experience. I have zero work experience at the moment. I just created my LinkedIn that looks empty to me. I'm going to camp soon and I just graduated at 25 years. I would really love to hear what you have to say in this line, Ma.
I didn't get her name. Let me see if I can catch it. Favor.
Oh,
Favor.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Favor, you are doing well. You're just out of school. Um, I'm not sure whether you just got a job already or you are about to go in, right? Because when you say you're about to go in, is it that you now want to start applying to get a job in human resource, or you just got a job? Either way, if you understand that you are a platform and you are in transit, there is nothing like zero experience. So if you check that thing well, there are experiences that you have. The only thing is that you haven't learned the language. You haven't learned how to say, I was class captain. You don't know how to move that and say leadership skills. Okay, you are about to, fantastic. So what you need to learn is language. How? Where do you learn language? Go and open materials. Go on YouTube and type in HBR on human resource. Type in career in human resource. You are not using it to write CV. No, you are using it to understand what you have done all your life. Somebody is going to tell you that time that you were, what do they have included? Course rep. And that was leadership skills. And you are going to hear that and you are going to put down, not just about putting down a CV, but be able to communicate what you have done in your past 5, 10, 15 years. Now, if you are about to go in, just know that the first few years will be part of your training. So don't expect that somebody is going to now make you HR of their entire company, except the company is 10 or 12 people. So when you go in, you will start learning. But right now where you are not completely devoid of experience. What you need to start doing now is start taking up small certificate courses on human resource. There are plenty of them everywhere you go. On Allison, on Udemy, on YouTube, just start taking. And the reason you are taking them is not so that you will not line up your CV and say UX certificate. No, it's so that you get into the idea of this is what is done here and you can communicate with people and understand what you are going to do. So I've said 3 things. Go online and read up, right? Take courses, take certificate courses. Number 2, when you take those courses, go and sit down and look through what you have. Before you to have a love for HR, you have some experience. Nobody just wakes up and has love for HR. Like, you know what it is HR does. You have seen somebody doing HR that you aspire to. So there is some leadership pool that you have. So go and look past in the past activities you have done. You have taken up something that was either thrust upon you or that you volunteered for. Those are things that should go into your CV and just put it out there, right? When you are invited, just know that nobody is putting you in charge of anything to start with, right? They will get you, and then from the day one, knowing that where you are is a harvest of yesterday, and that you are sowing seeds for tomorrow, you start working from where you are. Yeah.
Start working from where you are. Favor, I believe that that was very helpful. Start working from where you are. And just like Mrs. Oluchi has said, your LinkedIn as well, those experiences in your CV, you could write something about them and put on your LinkedIn. You say that your LinkedIn looks empty. Articles about your experiences, your thoughts on something relating to HR. Follow HR professionals on LinkedIn. Repost the things they post with your own thoughts. That's also a good way to build that portfolio as well. comment on their content as well. If you don't know, the convener of weekend is a HR consultant. She should be your,
Yes.
you should follow
To be your
her.
mentor. Mm-hmm.
She should be your mentor, your career mentor. And that's a good place. Where we are now is a good place because there's actually an employability boot camp that is coming up. So
Wow.
the convener of
That's
Weekend
nice.
is hosting an employability boot camp through her initiative called the Ready Set Work Initiative. So she has a platform, she has written a book to basically help youth because one of the gaps that she has noticed is that yes, there are not so many jobs in Nigeria, but even the few that are available, we find that the youth are not employable to uptake those jobs that are even available. So it's something she does annually. I think I was part of the 2023 cohort and she's doing it again. I think she didn't do last year, but she's doing it again in 2025. And it's really an insightful session. The Employability Boost Camp. It's a 1 day intensive workshop that is designed to equip job seekers and career professionals with the tools to thrive in today's job market. So beyond the fact that if you're registered with a 2-1, you have a good CGPA, you did Dangote graduate trainee internship. There are basic core skills that you need to have, just like Mrs. Oluchi spoke about. Your CV, you need to be able to write your CV. So in this training, we'll be giving you access to premium CV templates, guiding you on how to communicate in your CV, what to say, what not to say, what needs to be there, how to tailor those things. You were a class rep. How do you tailor it? How do you market it in your CV? We're also going to be touching on expert interview coaching. So one of the services we can also offers is when you have an interview, you could come for an interview coaching session. So there'll be expert interview coaching, practical strategies for career growth. So you've been in one organization for 2 years, you're not moving anywhere. How can you practically position yourself for career growth? Basically, the essential skills that you need beyond your certificates to get to secure and to keep your dream job. So this is available. It's coming up next week, Saturday, just 1 week from now. If you're interested, I think the information have been posted on the weekend group. It will be reposted again this evening. I also got word that because the fee for the boot camp is 10,000 naira, and I also got word this evening that someone is willing to do a 50% sponsorship for
Wow.
4 persons. So hurry and indicate interest on the weekend group. Somebody is willing to sponsor 4 people. So instead of paying 10,000, you pay 5,000 naira. And it's just for 4 slots. So hurry to the weekend group to indicate your interest. I think the information was posted there this evening. So there's the channel for communication and all that. Thank you very much once again,
Thank
Mrs.
you very
Oluchi. I don't think we have any questions, any other questions. Thank you. It was such an awesome session.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I missed your leadership master class.
Oh, it was
Uh,
something.
I
It
I
was something.
I'm waiting for the second edition. I know there'll be a
Yeah.
second edition.
Thank you.
I tried, but I had to take a step back that weekend because the week had been a lot. I just
Yeah.
told myself to rest. So thank you so much. Every time I come, I meet you, it's something new. Every time I meet you, I'm inspired. Thank you so much for this session. Amarachi is clapping. I mean, we can
Thank you.
show some love in the comment section.
Thank you very
Emotions,
much.
reactions. Thank you very much, ma. Any final words before we leave?
Thank you. It's always my joy seeing young people who are aspiring, as it were. So it kind of like draws something out from me. So what I would say in closing is, one thing I think I promised myself that was last year is I read a lot, I consume a lot of information. So I promised myself that every YouTube I listen to, every book I read, I'm going to take one thing out. I keep a journal, right? I'm going to take one thing and I'm going to do that one thing within 7 days of hearing that, right? So I know one of the things that that plagues young aspiring people is once that hunger grows, there is that rush of information. We are attending seminars, we are hearing stuff, we are listening, we are gulping down information. But by the time we look through our pathway, we're asking ourselves, it's almost like, where has this gotten us? And the way it can get you somewhere is not the information you hear that grows you, is the one that you do. So after every encounter, I said, what is one thing I'm going, even if it is resume updating, even if it is having a 6-month plan, like take
Yeah.
one thing. If you had say you're going to do many things, you will not do any one, but just take one thing out of every seminar, like the one you attended in weekend, the last one, the one you're attending now, just say, this is the one thing I'm going to, and I'm going to do within the next 7 days of hearing this. Trust me, you will be unrecognizable in 1 year.
Thank you so much, ma. I think there's a lot of love in the comment section, in the chat
Yeah.
box. I'm actually saying she appreciates your advice, that she's going into the negotiation room well armed. And we're looking forward to your testimony, please,
Yes,
Amarachi,
Amarachi, I'm really interested.
On the Wiccan community. Favor is giving a thank you emoji. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, ma.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
all right. So I think for today's informational session, we're quite on time. I love it. 7:30 and we're done. Wow. Wow. Well done,
Awesome.
everybody. Thank you so
Awesome.
much, man. Thank you so much, man. All right. We
Thank
can take your comments to the chat, to the community group. What did you learn?